Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Keith from Heavy Mental Art, and I'm an artist from Sydney, Australia. Recently made a custom deck of playing cards. Each design took 10 plus hours to make, and over 100 hours plus creating all of the designs, and then about over 3 months work. So I'm really happy with how they turned out for my first playing card set. So I wanted to make a series of videos going through my process of making the cards. The idea for these cards was based around the 4 horsemen and the Joker as the devil, as the one controlling everything like a puppet master. These will be up on Kickstarter if you want to grab one for yourself. Link will be in the description. So I appreciate any support, or even just sharing the Kickstarter around will help a lot. If you're watching this after the Kickstarter has ended, I may have some available on my website, heavymentalart.com.au. Link will also be in the description. Today I'll be going through the making of the King cards. So I hope you enjoy. So the first horseman that I started drawing was Death for the King of Spades card. So this card was like the foundation of what I wanted the other cards to look like. So here's the digital concept that I started out with before moving on to line work. I did record videos of me creating this card. I can't seem to find a video, so I just wanted to show the initial digital sketch and the finished design. So I gave this horseman the classic Grim Reaper look, holding a scythe as his weapon. The horseman Death is often described riding a pale horse, depicted carrying a scythe or sword, and he is followed by Hades, which is basically hell. This was a really fun design to base the rest of the card designs off. The next card I started working on was the Horseman War for the King of Hearts. So the idea based around this one was like a demon king with its head covered in fire, wearing this medieval type armor with a cape and holding a sword of flames, riding a red horse also covered in armor. From research, this horseman is normally seen riding a red horse, carrying a sword, representing war or the declaration of war. So he's almost like a god of war. So like the first card, I started off with a digital sketch before moving on to the line work. I did the sketch in Photoshop, and then for the line work I did that in Procreate. For each card and horseman, I wanted to give them their own look and feel and color scheme. For the Horseman of War, I went with a yellow, orange and red color scheme. Once I got the line work and the base color done, I then put the design into Photoshop to finish off the details. There's an option in Procreate called Symmetry, which I use for most of these card designs. So for whatever you draw at the top, it will mirror it at the bottom, or you can move it at different angles to what part of the canvas you want to be mirrored. So I pretty much split the canvas in half diagonally. So whatever I drew at the top, it would mirror it down the bottom like perfectly. So I don't have to mess around trying to align everything. It does it for me. It just makes everything a lot easier. So once I got the second card design done, I felt a bit more confident in how I wanted the cards to look, because before starting this project, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted them to look. But after finishing the first card design and then the second one, I had a more clear picture in my head of what I wanted to do. The third design was the Horseman Conquest for the King of Diamonds, often described riding a white horse, carrying a bow as his weapon of choice. The Horseman Conquest is sometimes represented as the Antichrist or a false prophet, and is a conqueror, which is the predecessor to war. I did a bit of research before starting these horseman designs, because I wanted to get a better understanding of what each horseman represents and where the ideas came from. I'm not a religious person myself, but I just thought it'd be a fun idea to base the card designs around this theme. So the idea for the look of this horseman was a holy paragon looking character, wearing almost perfect gold and silver armor, carrying a golden bow and arrows, and the horse also wearing similar golden silver armor. And I went with a yellow, orange and grey colour scheme. This design was a little difficult to draw, especially trying to fit all the details on the armor and the way the character is holding the bow, and also trying to fit the horse into it as well. From researching the horsemen, I found out that they all connect to each other.
So conquest leads to war, which leads to pestilence or famine, which then leads to death. Once I finished this design, I was really happy with it. Probably one of my favorite card designs so far. I thought this design would fit the diamond cards because I had the idea of doing the diamonds symbol as like a bullseye or target. Onto the final horseman, the horseman pestilence, but sometimes called famine as well, which means disease or hunger, for the king of clubs card. This horseman is often described riding a black horse and carries a pair of balances or weighing scales. The rider is typically portrayed as a thin or weak man because of lack of food or illness. For the look of this design, I went for a decaying look for the horse and the rider, almost like zombies. The rider wearing a metal helmet with multiple eyes, with a sinister grin, carrying a pair of scales holding poisonous flames. I went for a blue, purple and pink color scheme for this one. All the designs, I did a digital sketch and then I did the line work in base color in Procreate, and then I bring them into Photoshop to do the last details and to set them up for the actual card design. Once I got these 4 king card designs completed, I was pretty happy with how they came out, with each card having a different color scheme and look to it, and I felt pretty good and confident about the project and how it's coming together, and I was excited to get started on the queen cards. Here's a side-by-side time-lapse of each of the horseman designs. Each design took between 10 to 15 hours from start to finish, so it was a lot of work involved in making them and doing my own interpretations of the 4 horsemen. Even if I wasn't using these designs for cards, I'd be happy just having them as a set by themselves. It was also a fun challenge to do my own unique take on the characters and to bring them to life with my art style.
Like I said at the beginning of the video, these will be up on Kickstarter for a limited time. And it would mean the world to me if you wanted to support the Kickstarter and pick one up for yourself. So I appreciate any support, or even just sharing the Kickstarter around will help a lot. If you're watching this after the Kickstarter has ended, I may have some available on my website, heavymentalart.com.au. Link will be in the description below as well. It was definitely a challenge working on these cards, but I learned quite a bit, and I can't wait to make some more in the future. And I love seeing how I can apply my art to different things. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching. Keep on creating. I'll see you in the next video.